This is our second video where we're looking at this example of a $6,500 principal, simple interest with annual interest rate at 6.8% on a student loan. So we figured up how much interest is accrued with 4 years and 3 months of payment deferral. So while this person is in school, and then plus an extra 6 months, which pops us back to 4 years and 92 days after graduation, or after beginning, we figured up that there is $1,879.33 worth of interest from that time between taking out the loan and starting payments. So what I'd like to look at now is the monthly payment. Now we know with a student loan with a term of 10 years and monthly payments where you pay 12 times a year, that ends up with 120 payments total. What am I paying 120 times? So we have this monthly payment formula that we can easily plug into. We just have to be careful doing all of the arithmetic. So I'm putting in my principal for P, putting in my rate in both places where I have R. So I've got everything plugged in. Now I want to be careful about my order of operations. So perhaps you remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, maybe not, depending on who taught you order of operations and what method they taught you. But the first thing, or please, is parentheses, which actually isn't just parentheses, it's any grouping. Now when we have a fraction, everything on top of the fraction is all grouped together. It's as if there were parentheses around this whole top. And then parentheses around the whole bottom. So that's what I'd like to look at first. Let's look at the top, let's look at the bottom separately, and then we'll put them all together. So this top bit, within this top bit, I've got multiplication and division. Now, multiplication and division are the same level. I can do them all at once. So I'm going to put in my calculator 6,500 times 0.068 divided by 12. Now I've got a whole bunch of 3's on my calculator. I'm just going to put several on there. So next I'm going to look at the bottom. Inside this parenthesis right here, well, maybe it writes. There we go. I need to do the division before I do this addition. So in my calculator, I'm going to put in 0.068 divided by 12 equals, and get whatever I get. And then I'm going to add 1. The next thing I want to do is absorb this exponent. So I'm now wanting to get that part right there. Okay, so when I take this orange number, I raise it to the negative 120 power, I get this thing right here. Now I want to finally take care of the whole denominator before I put it with the numerator. So on the bottom, I've got that. On the top, I've got that. And now I can finally do that very last division. And this right here is my monthly payment for 10 years with this interest rate and this principal. Now you'll notice that I put this monthly payment in this column, unsubsidized and not capitalized, and it's also in this column, the subsidized loan, because in both cases it's using the same amount, the same new principal coming out of school when we begin our payments. Now if it's unsubsidized and capitalized, we have a larger amount. So when we go back to our monthly payment formula, still the same interest rate, but the principal is different. So instead of this $6,500, I have that new amount, $8,379.33. So why don't you pause the video, use that new value of P, see what you get for the monthly payment, and then we'll compare. Okay, here's what I got. How'd you do? If yours isn't quite the same, it could be a rounding issue. If it's really close, but it's just off a tiny bit, it could be because you used more decimal places than I did or fewer decimal places than I did. If it's just totally off, you might go back through and see where your work deviates, and then maybe consider if it's just maybe a calculator error, or else just identify exactly where you're having trouble and what you need to ask about.